What goes down sweet as honey often sours in the stomach. The day after the revelation, I found myself completely detached from reality, at least from the kind of reality I'd been taught to believe in. It wasn't just a stone thrown into a pond, it was a meteor strike. A third-class petty officer whose time was up, a man who worked in the bakery as crew supervisor, was suddenly replaced by me. I had only finished my school a month earlier, yet now I had E3s working under me. Everybody wanted to be my friend, to have long, deep conversations. Everyone except a few. Hines and Sheridan and I were headed out when Thomas, another man from boot camp who had followed me through school and onto the Kitty Hawk, asked if he could come along. About an hour later, Hines put his arm around Thomas in a way that made Thomas uncomfortable. Soon after, Thomas disappeared from our group, and I never saw him again. But I did hear about him. Between the Navy's lifestyle, the spending habits, and being under a microscope, everything escalated. Understanding came in buckets, and I realized how badly I'd goofed up my life to that point. I had bad habits and vicious circles galore, none of which were going to vanish overnight. I ran several times and found my problems followed me everywhere I went. This was a very liberal Navy. Officially, the kind of misconduct I was involved in wasn't tolerated, but in most cases it wasn't enforced either. A year later, there was an accident on another carrier, and 6 out of 10 sailors who died had THC in their blood after being out at sea for a month. Eventually, I was sent to drug and alcohol treatment. The conclusion was clear. The best course of action was to get me out of that environment, and that's what I started to do. One Friday night, my friend Art Hines and I stopped at a McDonald's right after a football game. As I sat there, I wondered what it would be like to go back to high school after everything I'd been through, how different it would feel this time around. A year later, I did exactly that. It took some convincing to get the principal to let a 20-year-old back into high school. He explained that most people my age got jobs and went to night school instead. 2 weeks later, I got a full-time job at the Frankenmuth Bavarian Inn, my name pulled from over 300 applications. Because of the work schedule, I had to leave regular high school and enroll in night school. I graduated a year later with a straight A average and received a scholarship covering half the credit hours toward my associate degree.